Welcome to Conversations. I'm Suresh Kochato. Do you know how many cases are pending in our Supreme Court? How many are pending in the high courts? And of course, how many cases are pending in the trial courts? Well, the numbers will simply shock you. Or actually, it may not even shock you because we have got used to it. The pendency of cases, for example, in our Supreme Court, which is the apex court in the country, has in the last 10 years grown 8 times and reduced only twice. Grown 8 times in 8 years and reduced only twice in 2 years. The number of cases pending in the Supreme Court is now close to 83,000, the highest ever. This is despite the sanction strength of the judges being increased as proposed by the Chief Justices way back in 2009, and later I think it was Justice Bobde in 2019. From 26 to 31 in 2009 and 31 to 34 in 2019. But the pendency of cases had kept pace. It has not reduced. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the problem. From 50,000 cases, it has shot up to 66,000 in 2013. It further reduced to 63,000 in 2014, further reduced to 59,000 in 2015. All is well, but increased in 2016 to 63,000 cases. In 2017, the then Chief Justice, Justice J.S. Kehar, who was the first to propose a paperless courts through infusion of information technology in the case management system, was able to substantially reduce the number to 56,000. In 2018, during the tenure of Justice Deepak Mishra as the Chief Justice of India, the pendency of courts in the cases in the courts in Supreme Court increased to 57,000 cases. In 2019, despite the increase in the judge strength, as I spoke about earlier, the cases again went up to 60,000 cases. So obviously, increasing the judges or the judge strength has not helped in reducing the pendency of cases. To make things worse, in 2020, the COVID pandemic virtually paralyzed everything, including the justice delivery system. And it took some time before the situation limped back to normal through virtual proceedings that we still have in some courts. The pendency has now shot up at that time to 65,000. In 21-22, the COVID continued to have its impact on the case disposals and pendency, touched 70,000 cases in 2021. Well, that was sort of to be expected because the number of cases got bunched up and Supreme Court was again chock-a-block with cases. The pendency of cases further increased to 79,000 by 2022. So 2 judges retired and Justice Chandrachud became the Chief Justice of India. But in the last 2 years, the pendency increased by almost 4,000 cases to get within the touching distance of 83,000 cases. And as we record this show, the cases must have gone up again. And this is the highest ever. This pendency is despite many innovative information-based technology interventions, even under Justice Chandrachud, by streamlining the categorization and bunching up of pending cases. Of the 82,831 cases pending as of the day I was doing the research, 27,604, that is 33% of the cases are less than a year old. 33% cases are less than a year old. While 38,995, that is close to 40,000 cases were disposed by Supreme Court this year, the Supreme Court actually saw more number of cases coming in. That is a sad fact. Equal number of cases, as much of cases that have been disposed of. So the rate of disposal is almost matching the rate of institution of cases. Actually, I need to dig up deep and see the age of these pending cases. Well, that will be for another story. So why does the Supreme Court allow new cases to be taken up, especially when the petitions are filed by 5-star lawyers like Kapil Sibal, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Dushyant Dave, Mukul Rohtig, Indira Jaising and others. And I'm not naming just these people. I'm just saying the entire ecosystem of 5-star lawyers. Because their petitions are taken up in a jiffy by the judges. In fact, let us now go back and take up the Supreme Court later. But look at the High Courts now. The total cumulative pendency of cases in High Court was 41 lakhs in 2014. Yes, it was 41 lakhs. It never showed a dip in the last 10 years, except once. Today, the number of cases have gone up from 41 lakh in 2014 to 61 lakh in 2023, before dipping to about 59 lakhs this year. And imagine. And when you come to the bottom of the pyramid, which is the trial courts, there the pendency is in crores, not lakhs or thousands. 2.6 crore cases in 2014 has now increased to 4.5 crore cases. Our population is 140 crores, so you can imagine. The cases that reach the Supreme Court does so after spending years in the lower courts, and is often the last stop for a judicial refuge, somebody who's looking for justice at the end of the tunnel. The amount a petitioner has to spend in the Supreme Court is huge, and I myself have gone through it. And the common man cannot just afford it. Even I could not afford it, but I had to. Truly, the Supreme Court is only for the rich and the powerful, and I've seen that upfront and personal. Lawyers in the Supreme Court charge a bomb. Then there are court fees and travel costs and stake. Imagine the amount of money that a poor person will have to spend traveling from Thiruvananthapuram to New Delhi for a hearing in the Supreme Court. And if that is lucky, if they get that hearing, only to be told that the case has now been moved to another date, which may be after a year. So the lawyer has to be paid, the travel cost is still there, and of course the stay cost is also there. Imagine the toll on the poor person. Unless, of course, your lawyer is Kapil Sibal. He can persuade the Chief Justice, any Chief Justice, and the other judges in the Supreme Court to do his bidding. And I'm not just naming Kapil Sibal, there are many like him. A normal person who tries to get his case listed in the Supreme Court or the High Court will have to wait for months before the hearing is even taken up. But if you have a 5-star lawyer, like some of the names I mentioned before, your cases will get mentioned in the morning of the same day, and maybe it will be heard in a day or two, or maybe if you're lucky, it's the same day itself. Whoever said that the law is same for everyone is a fool. The delay in delivery of justice aggravates a person's suffering and misery. Sometimes the cases go on for generations, and sometimes the third generation is still fighting the case started by his grandfather or her grandfather. That apart, the sluggish pace of trials in matters hurts the nation and the society. That is what the sad fact is. Our justice system is broken totally. Those in positions of power, like the legislature or even the Supreme Court judges, should devise ways to change what's happening. It has been said 1,000 times before, but needs to be restated again, that justice delayed is justice denied. But then who is hearing this? Certainly not the judges. The Lok Adalats and the appellates have helped to a large extent, but not much. A lot more needs to be done in mediation before it reaches the court. Adjournments are another big bugbear. Tariq pe tariq never seems to be going out of fashion. And of course, the holidays taken by the judges, which the Supreme Court says is justified. And of course, I don't know why Supreme Court doesn't hear cases on Sunday. All of us work overtime when it's required, but Supreme Court does. The same Supreme Court judges give lectures to government departments about their inefficiency. Should look inward first. Where is the accountability when it comes to the judges? Why is there no punishment for judges who don't do their job? This is a question that the common man on the street is asking. Because once you try and get into the judicial system to fight a case, God bless you. You never may see the end of it, in your lifetime at least. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not criticizing the entire judicial system. But in a country like ours with 140 crore population, there has to be a fast-forward method. The number of hearings need to be reduced, as I said. And of course, adjournments need to be reduced. That exactly has been proposed in the new Bharat Nyaya Sanchika. But the question is also about judges. Why can't judges sit for extended hours? We've seen in many cases, even during the vacations, that judges sit for extra hours, sit on holidays and dispose the cases. The first step is to stop taking up cases indiscriminately. Put a stop to this five-star culture of lawyers in the Supreme Court and even in the high courts. Everybody should be treated same, an intern as well as a kind of a senior person. Otherwise, this is not going to end anywhere. And Tariq pe Tariq will continue. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.